For this episode, we got to take it back to the beginning.
LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
Let's get this thing started.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for the In or Out sports debate with your hosts, Robb Johnson and Drew Willingham.
Hello, everyone. We are live with episode 56 of the In or Out sports debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, along with this week's special returning panelist. And I don't feel like that intro did enough justice. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit more flavor. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we must welcome back the original panelist from this show, the In or Out Sports Debate. I may be the creator of this production, but the show would not be what it is today without the contributions from this individual. Along with myself and others, this man is one of the cornerstones of the network known as LegacyMaker Sports. The owner of an 11-episode appearance streak within the vault of this show's history that may never be broken. Returning for the first time in 45 episodes, the man, the myth, and the legend among sports journalists. Please join me in welcoming back Mr. Robb Johnson. Without further ado, please welcome back Mr. Robb Johnson. Welcome back to the show, brother.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, LegacyMaker Sports Network Nation? Are you ready for sports debate, or are you ready for sports debate? I'm ready for sports debate.
We're going to knock this thing on out the park, man. And one thing we have to do before we get started, and that's one thing that has been popular throughout the majority of these episodes since the revamp, and that is acknowledging the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
This is why this show is so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham.
How's it feel to look at that and know you had a big part of what that is? Like this is your DNA is all over that, my man. And without you, this wouldn't be possible. We wouldn't be at 56 episodes without you. Thank you for coming back. You are what I meant in that intro. You are one of the cornerstones of this network, along with myself. I'm not trying to toot my own horn too much, but you are one of the biggest parts with that too. Welcome back.
I know you said DNA. Luckily, O.J. Simpson's his DNA wasn't all over that glove.
And that is how you make your way back onto the show. Welcome back there, sir. We've got a great jam-packed show for 4 rounds today. With that said, let's go ahead and take it into round 1.
Round 1.
And here with round 1, you know, this start to the NFL season, Rob, has been a little bit different in most eyes than it's not the way that a lot of people anticipate, especially with this team right here. And with this, the New York Giants loss to the Seattle Seahawks should humble them towards achieving great heights this season. How do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm out. Now, the reason I'm out on this is because the Giants are 6-2 on the football season. We get all that. They just lost to Seattle. Daniel Jones, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season. Saquon Barkley has avoided injury. We understand that. However, you look at the rest of their schedule going down the stretch. They play the Texans, the Lions, the Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Commanders, Vikings, and the Colts, and then the Eagles again. This team should win at least 9 or 10 games. The problem that they're looking at is the Commanders are coming on. Drew Willingham in the offseason, we did a Legacy on Fire, where he said the Washington Commanders could surprise some people. Now, if you look at the Commanders actually played Dallas very tough. And if it hadn't been for some bad penalties and some referee mistakes, Washington, I feel like, would have won that game. Washington's been in a lot of games this year. So I feel like the Commanders are the team that the Giants need to worry about creeping up on them. As you heard, the Giants have a very easy schedule. But we don't know if Saquon's going to get hurt. We don't know if they're going to get any of the receivers in. And we don't know what Daniel Jones is going to do the rest of the year. And we don't know if this defense is going to implode. So I'm out on that. I mean, they lost to a better Seattle team, and that's just bottom line.
Yeah, I agree with you on this as well. I'm definitely out on this one too. Don't let that record fool you. They're playing a very, very easy schedule this year. A lot of like the points of what Rob just made. When you put everything into perspective, the NFC East, the Eagles are at the top. They're undefeated. You can't take anything away from them. The Cowboys and the Giants are 2 games back. However, I feel like the Eagles are going to keep pulling away with this. This team just keeps getting better each and every week. The Cowboys and the Giants and the Commanders, all 3 of them have a shot at the wild card because the Commanders are starting to get hot the right time, coming off of 2 back-to-back. They're actually won 3 straight games. This past one against the Colts definitely spoke volumes about the dumpster fire that's going on. And you even said it earlier in the chat there, in the LegacyMaker chat there, Rob, about the offensive coordinator getting fired today for Indianapolis. However, he wasn't even calling the plays. That's why I laughed at it, because you're not even calling the plays, and you got fired. Frank Reich is the one that is in trouble for that team. But when it comes to the New York Giants loss to the Seahawks and getting back on topic with that within the NFC East, the New York Giants, the record is very easy. That's why they were 6-1 to start this season out. They did get humbled yesterday, but I don't feel like this is going to motivate them towards great heights, because it's not like they're going to win the division, because the Eagles, I feel like, in my opinion, are going to steal this one at the very end. They're not going to be perfect for the season. I see them being 15-2 is my prediction at the way they're playing.
Well, let's be very clear. The whole NFC East schedule is a little bit soft this year. And I know people will look at that when they try to bash the Cowboys, bash the Eagles, bash the Commanders, and say the schedule's easy. Well, you can only play what you can play. The parity is huge this year in the National Football League. It's huge. So what I feel that with the Giants, they have a bye this week. They have to get themselves together. And if you even look at their games against the Packers, they could have lost that game. There are a lot of other games they should have lost against the Ravens, etc., but they were able to pull it out. Like I said before, the biggest thing with the Giants is they have Brian Daboll. Daboll is a great head coach, offensive mind, but how long is Saquon Barkley going to stay healthy?
53 rushing yards on Sunday will not get it done. This team, a lot of the wins that they got has been built up on the fact that he has been playing well leading up into this past weekend. Daniel Jones having 176 passing yards with no touchdowns. He didn't turn the ball over, but he only completed almost half of his passes. A little over 50% completion with 176 passing yards. And 53 rushing yards by your top running back is not going to get it done. You guys got to get the ball in the end zone when it comes to the passing game. Geno Smith, however, though, Rob, has been lighting it up this year compared to everybody saying Geno was done. So I do feel like this humbled the Giants, but humbling them towards achieving great heights and winning the division, no. The Eagles are going to take this division this year, in my opinion. And
Geno Smith was a very good quarterback at West Virginia. He went to the Jets, and as you know, the Jets do not know how to manage quarterbacks. So, any quarterback that goes to New York, even if the Jets make the leap and go get Aaron Rodgers and pay all their money off season, it won't matter. Because look what happened with Brett Favre. They didn't go to the playoffs.
Yep, you're right. And with that, even though Geno Smith only had a little over 200 passing yards in that game, he did throw for 2 touchdowns, did not turn the ball over, and their top rusher, Walker III, had 51 rushing yards, but he scored a touchdown. That was the difference over.
And they got weapons in Seattle. They got weapons in Seattle. Let's be honest. They have weapons in Seattle. And the NFC West is not as strong this year. They would not be able to do the same thing last year if this team was put in the last year. It wouldn't happen. The Rams were stronger. The 49ers were stronger, in my opinion, last year. Even with Christian McCaffrey, I think they were stronger last year. So I just think that the division is weaker, just like the AFC West. It's a lot weaker across the league this year.
And the biggest difference with the Seattle Seahawks when it comes to their quarterback play is the fact that Geno Smith definitely matured over these past 5 seasons of being a backup quarterback and playing behind Eli Manning, Rivers, and then, of course, Russell Wilson, which I don't think he learned too much from there. I just think he just bided his time and then just, it helped him with the maturity process.
No. I think he learned from Russ. I think Russell Wilson gets a little bit of a bashing too much because he's quirky, he prays and all that. I mean, hell, if more people prayed and were quirky like Russell Wilson, we wouldn't have all these killings in the streets. But that's another story for another day. Everybody wants to keep real. Everybody wants to be all big and bad, and that leads nowhere. Rest in peace to take off Migos. Too much violence in the streets. I wanted to put that in there real quick. But yeah, man, sometimes it's good being a cornball, and it's sometimes good being a square because it means you get home every night. But another story for another day.
Facts. Most definitely facts when it comes to that. And, that was definitely an interesting round one with pretty much the NFC East and talking, the Giants. There's one thing I forgot to do, getting amped up and getting excited about the start of the episode. I forgot to plug the handles starting up the episode for the LegacyMaker Sports Network. You can check it out here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and coming soon to TikTok. And always check out the articles and the latest at LegacyMakerSports.com. You can check out the In or Out Sports Debate on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the audio platforms on Apple and Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can always download individually on iTunes. We are here for episode 56. Robb Johnson returns for the record-setting 12th appearance, the OG edition. The originals are back for the start of Double Debate Tuesday. As this evening, we have episode 57 with the returning Joey Raymond to discuss some more World Series baseball at 8 o'clock p.m. But for right now, with episode 56, let's go ahead and take this into round 2 and talk a little bit more NFL football.
Round 2.
And here with round 2, we'll take this into the AFC and talk a little bit about the Raiders with Josh McDaniels. Should be the next head coach to be relieved of his duties after a 2-5 start to this season. How do you feel about this one, Rob? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I am 1,000% in. When they got rid of John Gruden and they brought in the interim coach, he did well. He did everything he was supposed to do. What they do? What did the Las Vegas Raiders do? They went and got Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels in his first season with Denver was 8-8. Remember, everybody, he started out 3-0. He was hugging people. He was all excited. Ever since he went 8-8 in Denver, ever since then, he was 3-9. He didn't survive that season, and he's 2-5 this year. He is 13-22 as a head coach. I don't understand why people keep getting these guys from the Bill Belichick tree. When are people going to realize that Tom Brady is the reason why a lot of these guys have jobs? Tom Brady is the reason why a lot of these guys look great because he's Tom Brady. People want to complain about Brady having a bad year. Look, man, Brady's still having a hell of a year, okay? And you know the common denominator of these guys when they go to these different spots? It's Tom Brady, all right? Todd Bowles looks bad this year because guess what, folks? Newsflash, Todd Bowles is not a good head coach. Just like Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach. So I don't know if it's going to be Josh McDaniels first. I don't know if it's going to be Todd Bowles first. But I believe it should be Josh McDaniels. And Todd Bowles, if he loses another ugly game, needs to be him next. And that's all I got to say on this topic.
I'm conflicted with this one because there's not many times within this show where I have wanted to go with a push or anything like others have tried to do in the past. However, you can't do that in this show, and you have to pick one. And I actually am going to disagree with Rob on this one. I'm going to go out. I'm not trying to excuse the dumpster fire of what is going on in Las Vegas, because when you pick up Devontae Adams, that was supposed to be the tip and scale, the needle mover for your offense to get you further along in the playoffs. And you don't even look like you're going to make the playoffs at this point with a 2-5 start to this season. However, when you look at other teams around the league, and I have to emphasize this on other teams around the league, there are other teams with a worse record than this, and most importantly here with the Houston Texans. Now, I know some people are trying to give this a little bit of a pass because of the Deshaun Watson debacle and getting rid of him and not really getting much in return, and you don't really have much in capital to make room, except for you do have some picks, you do have some cap room in some ways, but you're one of the worst teams in the league for a reason at 1-5, and Lovie Smith is the one that I feel like should be going next. He stuck around in his last position with the Bears for too long. I feel like with the opportunities, he should have if he was going to actually take a real situation, he should have known better than to go to the Texans. He should have taken a coordinator position at a team where he had a chance to shine, like potentially like Kansas City, where Bieniemy has been looking great but can't get a head coaching job. Had you gone to somewhere like there, to somewhere with more clout, to where you could be consistently moving along in the playoffs, kind of like Todd Bowles did with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you get like somewhere, more of a stage to shine on, then they can get you a better coaching position, because you just taking the next best thing is going to be what makes this your last head coaching stop in the NFL, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
Well, when it comes to the Texans on a PR thing, and I know people look at it as controversial, but their last two head coaches have been black head coaches, right? But if you look back at Bill O'Brien, the way the situation was treated with DeAndre Hopkins, the way Deshaun Watson stuff went, possibly them having an involvement with the whole massage thing, the setup, whatever. I think this whole thing is just being a PR stunt for them to try to look good. Lovie Smith did not need to be the head coach of the Houston Texans. To me, it did not make any sense whatsoever. When you look at Lovie Smith, I don't think that he wore his weapon his welcome in Chicago. He won 9 games that year. He wore out his welcome in Illinois, and now they're not really doing. And they started out the season. The Texans have been very competitive. They just don't have a real quarterback. I like Davis Mills, but he's not the quarterback of the future. When I look at Houston, when I look at teams like Detroit, Dan Campbell's going to be there. I like the direction Detroit is going. But you have to also look at it and say, hey, when is this going to run out? When do we got to get another guy, etc. But I just look at Josh McDaniels. I just look at him as being privileged. It's not because of what he looks like. It's not because of, what his background is, whatever. He's just been very privileged in this league because he had the ability to get Tom Brady right. And like I said before, it has nothing to do with the fact that Tom Brady looks so good, that he is a great head coach. I mean, that he could be a great head coach. I think he's overrated. I think Tom Brady, again, has made everybody look so good that once you get outside the house, you don't look so good anymore. So, yeah.
The offensive line has definitely been a big factor in what has affected Tom Brady this year. I mean, you lose Gronk, who was a blocking tight end, very physical tight end, who did what he said he was going to do. He came in there, got you a ring, and got out. But in this case, with Josh McDaniels being the next head coach to be relieved, you do make some good points in there, and I feel like that's probably the winning factor in this one. However, when it comes to Lovie Smith, I just feel like when it comes to the Texans situation, they need to completely do a complete overhaul, because, like you said, Davis Mills is not the actual.
He was a scapegoat. He was a scapegoat. He never should have been the head coach. The Houston Texans actually should have been investigated a lot more, because when it comes to Deshaun Watson stuff, you mean to tell me in the state of Texas he didn't get charged with anything? In the state of Texas, where there have been historically some crazy laws, you mean to tell me he didn't get charged with anything and the Texans didn't know about nothing? The Texans didn't do anything? Come on now. Something's up with the Houston, man. That you talking about a franchise needs to be sold.
Would you put the Texans up there more so than the Washington Commanders as far as a team that needs to get rid of their owner ASAP, that needs to get Donald Sterling right now? Would you put the Texans there over top of the Commanders?
If we find out that they had anything to do with setting up Deshaun Watson, yes. You see, when it comes to Daniel Snyder, I think Daniel Snyder has drafted very well. Okay? I think that when you look at Washington in the totality, right, Even when you go back, I go back to a lot of situations where they could have won playoff games, should have won playoff games. I mean, it's not Daniel Snyder's fault that Chase can't get on the field. It's not his fault that kicks have been missed. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Daniel Snyder, but I cover his team, so I'm not gonna dog him. Not out here. And in person, I'm not gonna dog him. I just think there are different things that they could do better. I think they need to go after a younger, sprier, more head coach who's more current. I think that they should have given Taylor Heineke the keys from the beginning of the season. But no, I'm not going to say they need to get rid of him, because what happens if every owner's secret gets out? There won't be an NFL. What if Roger Goodell's secrets really get out? What if the NFL's real secrets get out? There won't be an NFL. Remember what they did to baseball back in the middle of 2000s. That could happen to you too, NFL. That could happen to you too. So be very careful and tread very lightly. Because trust me when I tell you, Daniel Snyder has stuff on people. Yeah. He ain't as stupid as he looks.
Yeah, and that's why I said on Snowman's show yesterday, I was like, if he's still there within the next calendar year, you're not going to get rid of him. Like, it's after as much stuff has gone on over the years, there's pretty much been turmoil going on the entirety of his ownership. You know, I've been a fan of the team. It's been well documented. It's on the shelf behind me. We already know, we discussed on several episodes of this show and in other ones for this network. Like, as a fan, I'm one of the most critical ones of this team. And as a journalist, and you go back and look at episode 5 when Rob was adamant about getting my journalistic side about the team, and I gave it. And you can go back and look at the best of series, because that is definitely the best clip from that episode. But in that case, and in this case too, I still give them a hard time. I feel like the only way this franchise is going to make any improvements severely, and it's not so much on the coaching, it is the structure at the top. Whether Daniel Snyder learns how to behave within the structure of business in the NFL or sells the team to somebody who can take better care of it. We can already see that it doesn't always matter when the Richardson situation, Jerry Richardson situation in Carolina, that didn't mean the situation when Tepper came in made the situation any better, because Carolina is still a dumpster fire. Maybe not as much at the top, but still as a team and within structure, he doesn't know how to run a football team. So.
No. They've been horrible. Let's just keep it honest. The Carolina Panthers, from Richardson to now. And here's the other thing that keeps making me laugh about everybody. Everybody's talking about justice and this and that, yada, yada, yada. These guys are getting $2, $3, $4 billion. You think they care? So until the guys stop getting paid, who do they care if they are reign of terror? Daniel Snyder's gonna get what, $4 or $5 billion? And then remember, what's even funnier is when they said they turned the reins over to his wife. So they I mean, come on now. Nobody believed that crap. You really, come on, man.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what the next actual move within a coach getting fired. And the way that it's going, if these teams keep losing that we mentioned, one of these teams is going to get fired. And you need to keep an eye on Pittsburgh too, because if they don't make any improvements, this is the first time
that's not going to happen.
We could potentially see Tomlin have his first losing record as a head coach.
No. That's not going to happen because of that. I just think that, and I'm going to tell everybody this: sellers beware. Okay, Drew, let me ask you this: what team in college football just got back to prominence this year?
Which I'm drawing a blank right now in this moment.
I'll let you know, because I know there are a lot of teams that have come back to prominence. So
yeah, that's kind of a trick question.
Well, I'm talking about the Tennessee Volunteers. Volunteers.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So they came back to prominence, right? But what happened when they got rid of their coach who won the national championship, Philip Fulmer, back in the early 2000s? They plummeted. So this is my thing I need everybody to understand. Sometimes when you sell too much, thinking that you can get better, you don't get better. You get worse. So Pittsburgh, be very careful, because it's not Mike Tomlin's fault that you brought in a bunch of crappy quarterbacks. And that I told everyone that this past quarterback class was horrible. Wait till next year. You bring in Kenny Pickett, fumbling Kenny Pickett. You get what you deserve, Pittsburgh. And don't blame it on Mike Tomlin.
And I give Rob credit with this, because Rob was also saying this stuff during the NFL draft time and in offseason when we were first starting the show back up. This is the 51st episode that we've done here this year. Episode 6, when we started back in April, that was around the time, we had the NFL draft, and you can go back and look and talk about Nakobe Dean and the picks within the NFL draft. And that was definitely one of them. We definitely had some words about Pickett back there in that time, but we've gone through 2 rounds so far on the returning episode of Rob being here. Let's go ahead and take it into round 3 and see what we got in store. Talk a little bit World Series baseball.
Round 3.
And here with round 3, the 2022 World Series will go down as one of, if not the best of all time. How do you feel about that one, Rob? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Man, I'm out. You know I'm out. All right, guys. This doesn't take much discussion from me. This is going to be very simple. You know what this series reminds me of? It reminds me of Lakers versus Sixers in 01. The Astros were up big. They came back. They got the heroic performances. Game 2, they beat them down. I think Houston takes this in 5 games. I think that when you look at World Series overall, look back at 2016. Look at the Indians at the time against the Cubs. Look at the Braves versus the Twins in 91. Hell, you can go back to 01. That series between the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. I mean, folks, this is what I'm getting really sick and tired of, right? I understand Philly only won 88, 87 games during the regular season, whatever. But they have a huge payroll. This is what Philly should be doing. Stop making them the darlings of baseball. They beat, they came in, they beat the Cubs, beat the Braves, and they beat the Padres. They have a huge payroll. They paid Bryce Harper to do this. I'm seeing people already calling this guy a Philly legend. I compared him to Barry Bonds as far as his ability to hit, being a left-handed hitter, etc. I did a comparison. You go look at that article from a couple years ago, LegacyMaker But this is the Houston Astros time. This will not go down as the best World Series of all time. We've had better games, as I say, going back to 01, going back to the Rangers versus the Cardinals back, I believe it was 2011. There have been better series than this. The Astros are going to take it over. It's starting tonight. They're going to win these next couple of games in Philly. They're going to close out in Houston.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting turn to that, and I don't think that it's going to be one of the best of all time. That's why I agree with you on this. I'm out on this too. And a playoff series and multiple playoff series that have saved these teams in rain delays and cancellations, postponements, and reschedules. This is why they have been well rested and they have been lights out in those first 2 games. Now, however, that game 1, when the Astros were up 5-0 on the bat of Kyle Tucker hitting those 2 home runs, bringing in those 5 runs, and then the Phillies coming back to score 6 unanswered runs to win that game. That was huge. That is the type of win that propels you to a victory in the World Series. In some cases, it may actually propel you into a sweep. However, the Astros did come back that next game, and they won, and they tied the series. And then last night, we were supposed to have game 3. What happens? Postponed till tonight, so we got game 3 tonight. Joey and I will be talking about that as well here on episode 57. However, there is one other thing that we have to go back and look at, Robb Johnson, and that is the pitcher from the Astros having to change his socks and his glove during the game. And that could be a potential sign that maybe, just maybe, they're cheating again. That might be without Dusty's knowledge, and it could be under his nose. However, how do we know there's not a little bit of Crisco or something up in those socks or up inside of the glove to actually make that curve?
Hold on.
Just curve a little bit more.
Hold on. I am so sick of Yankees fans.
I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm a Braves fan.
I'm not talking about you. I know you're a Braves fan, but I'm so sick of these. You know what? If you guys want to look at some real conspiracy theories, go look at some real conspiracy theories that go a bunch of time. Here's the bottom line: the Astros have been kicking everybody's butt all these years, right? The Astros have been kicking everybody's butt. Everybody's mad about it because they're in the Houston market. They can't get the Yankees. They can't get Aaron Judge, who can't hit a ball into the water in the playoffs, but hits everything in the regular season. Come on, man. Come on now. So sick of hearing about this. And you know another thing I'm sick of? Do you know that the Philadelphia Phillies have a $242 million payroll?
That's
Okay.
kind of hefty payroll.
Yeah. And this is what, top 5, right? So how are you the darlings? How are you the darlings? I'm so sick of this. They're the darlings because, their payroll and all this. Man, get out of here with that crap. In fact, they're what? 4th, $242 million. Let's see where the Astros are. Give me a second, folks. Oh, that's right. $182 million. Almost $60 million less.
Still baseball's.
But I'm saying, man, this is the thing. Can we just come to the conclusion that the Houston Astros are just better than everybody? And that if you had kept them in the NL, maybe things wouldn't be like this. The Athletics, the Mariners, the god-awful Angels. Come on, man. They just beat you guys every year. Everybody's mad because Mike Trout can't get to the playoffs.
He should have gone to a better team when he had the chance, but he could have
Well,
signed
no. He wants to
He took the money.
No. You know what? He wants the money, and he wants to be like Larry Fitzgerald. I want to be loyal. Where'd that get you? Where loyalty gets you? Only thing you need to be loyal on is your relationship, your taxes, and praying to God every night. Other than that, screw it.
And when it comes to professional sports,
and please be loyal to your taxes, because that ain't good.
No, you're right. And with that, we've gone through the first 3 rounds so far of episode 56. And let's go ahead and acknowledge the comments here at the midway point for the Medial Mayhem. Rob, this afternoon, we're pretty popular, man. We got 20 comments so far in the chat. Let's go ahead and look at it. Facebook user, I'm pretty sure this is Darrell because I think he was the one who commented last week with it. Drew and Rob, let's go. Excited. Rob is back, says Derek Medea. He actually said it twice. He was that hype about it. Says, let's go. Chad Powers says, welcome back, Rob. That was a badass intro. It kind of was. I kind of have to. That was kind of a badass intro. Facebook user says NFC Beast is in full effect. I wouldn't say NFC Beast. We haven't really seen NFC Beast in quite some time since I think the Shanahans were coaching, and that was that one year that they had that I would say that there was NFC Beast when it was all real tight in there. Then maybe one other year. They should have never hired McDaniels. You're right. You're absolutely right. They should not have hired McDaniels. It's definitely been a dumpster fire over there in Las Vegas. It's time for Mike Tomlin to go. And this was before I even said it. So Rob disagrees with that. And I actually brought it up, but in Rob's case, he probably would say this to you.
What? Say what again? Say what again?
What? Absolutely. Because, I said it after Rob made his point and I thought about it. This is his first losing season, or at least potential losing season. The season's not over yet, but he hasn't had a losing season. I can't really say that it would be time to let him go. Maybe they should practice more. I don't know. But in the eyes of this person, he doesn't really see them to think that would be agreeable with that.
But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice, man. When you come in the arena and you see me play, don't you?
Absolutely.
You see me give everything I got, right?
Absolutely.
But we talking about practice right now.
And he gives everything he's got. But with that said, Rob actually changed my mind. I don't think it's time for Mike Tomlin to go, and hopefully, Derek, you change your mind on that as well. Facebook user says, sometimes great coordinators are just that great coordinators. How do you feel about that one, Rob?
I think it's true. Some people are just coordinators, Rex Ryan, etc. He went to AFC Championship games. Some people are just coordinators.
It might be one of those situations where this is the case.
You can't handle the truth.
We need you to handle the truth, man, because a lot of these guys like McDaniels are just cut out to just be coordinators and fit under the glove of one Belichick.
I agree.
Commanders, Texans, and Dolphins.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure. Facebook user, if you could elaborate on that and let us know in the comment who you are as the Facebook user, because you're not coming up here. Joey Raymond has appeared. I'm coming for you, Rob. Be warned, with laughing emoji. Joey Raymond is here tonight at episode 57, 8:00 p.m. here for his 6th appearance. He is trying to come for Rob. You've got a lot of episodes there, buddy, to catch up there to Rob with that, especially a streak that may never be broken with the 11 straight episodes. Joey tonight says Derek, and then says, "Let's go Phillies," he says. And I actually disagree with that. I feel like this one should come up for that one.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Because we don't. Let's kind of take that back there, Derek. I think the Astros win, though, he says. All right, well, thanks for kind of covering your tracks. Chad says, "Shut up, Derek," followed by, "Yo, what up, Derek?" says Joey. "Here we go again," says Derek. Chad says, "Sup, Joseph," followed by, "Sup, Chad Powers. Loved you on Monday Night Football last night." Nice. Cheaters, Astros be cheating again. Rob, you want to kind of touch up on that? Do you feel like that's the case with that one?
They keep winning, so I mean, they just keep winning. I mean, what can you say? They just keep winning.
I mean, you kind of disagree with my Crisco take that I was having there for a minute, but
I mean, yeah, they just keep winning. I mean, after a while, everybody else, like the Yankees and their fans, just need to shut up.
Is this that situation where the Astros bring this guy in to have a conversation with the Phillies?
You may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it.
Let them know, Astros.
I mean, if you bring that guy in, then it's pretty much downhill from there.
Hey, that guy is the only saving grace of AEW, or at least
that's
the
my
last
point.
Fresh of breath there, yeah.
That's my point. You're going down.
Yeah, because the bidding war 2024 may be for real, because AEW, everything that's been going on, which we're going to have to get you back on soon to discuss some wrestling, because that has definitely been the case with that right there. So with this next comment that we have, baseball money is a different kind of money. And Joey, you are definitely right with that. There's the structuring of the cap when it comes to Major League Baseball is completely different than any other sport. There's not as much structure as there is within like the NFL, and NFL's got it probably better than the NBA and the others, because the NBA also has like a high cap too. It makes it to where this next situation is merely impossible.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
In our last comment, going into the end of the medial mayhem for the midway point of the show, Michael Bish, thank you for watching there, my guy, and here to watch episode 56, talking about Phillies, baby. And, that's as a hater of one Bryce Harper, I cannot acknowledge that. And Rob,
I don't dislike Bryce Harper. I just think that he could have matured in over years. I think he has, and I think that him not being in the lineup helped the Phillies. Not gonna say I dislike him, because I may need him soon.
Absolutely. With the Phillies, you definitely have a great success story. Both teams, both wild card teams, getting to the World Series is a great success story. But only one of these teams can win. I've been wrong all season long, but I didn't really give that much of a prediction in our last round.
Were the Astros a wild card team? They won the division. They got a bye.
I thought they were both wild card teams.
Who, the Astros?
I thought so. Am I wrong?
No, the Astros won like 100 and some. I won like over 100 games.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was them and the Yankees. It was them and the Yankees, right? I mean, the Yankees had the bye.
Yeah. So. I don't know that I was wrong again, but I have not been picking either one of these teams to get to this point in the year to the World Series.
I had the Astros most definitely.
But I'm gonna just go ahead and say it now with the way everything's going and with the rain delays. I'm gonna go ahead and give the Phillies a 7. And it's hard for me to say that as a Braves fan. It really is. But I don't want to. And I want the Astros to win. I want to be wrong here. That's why I'm saying the Phillies in 7 to be wrong, because I've been wrong about this all playoffs. So I'm gonna stick with Phillies or at least I haven't stuck with anything because this is the first time I've really acknowledged it, except for
So pretty much the Astros are winning in 5. Next topic.
I love it. So with that one, we've gone through the midway point of the show. We've acknowledged the comments here. Let's go ahead and take this into round 4, where we've got the By the Numbers segment being here with episode 56. Let's go ahead and talk about the greatest to ever wear, number 56.
Round 4.
And here with number 56, Lawrence Taylor is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 56 in all of sports. How do you feel about this one, Rob? Do you agree with this one? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Is Floyd Mayweather undefeated?
Absolutely.
So I'm in. Lawrence Taylor went to a high school known as Lafayette High School, a team that I cover against New Kent because I covered that locally. This guy, Lawrence Taylor, all-time one of the great linebackers we've ever seen. I know people want to compare him to Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons has a long way to go before he ever becomes Lawrence Taylor. This guy won an MVP. This guy was a terror on the field, sometimes off the field, but we won't get to that today. Yeah, what can I say? He's the best 56 of all time. I can't. There's not much I can say. It's one of these topics where you can't. What can you really say? What can you really say?
He's had one of the the biggest highlights of. Well, it was one of the worst things to happen to certain people in their career when it comes to Theismann. But he's also been a major impact there, winning 2 Super Bowls as part of a big defense for the Giants. So with that, 2 Super Bowls. So with that, I've got to go ahead and agree with this one. I'm in on this as well. When you look at everything as a whole, Lawrence Taylor spent his entirety of his career with the New York Giants. From 1981 to 1993, like I said, he was a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He was the most valuable player in 1986, a 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 81, 82, and 86. Pretty much dominated the 80s at his position at outside linebacker. An 8-time first-team All-Pro. He was the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in his rookie year in 81, 2-time second team as well in 87 and 90, but a 10-time Pro Bowler, 10 straight Pro Bowler in those 10 Pro Bowls as well between 81 to 90. So at a position that is very taxing on the body, and it's only been easier to have a lengthier career in some of these positions, especially at linebacker. He spent 13 years with the Giants and doing the things that he did at that position. So very, very beneficial to the game of football. Changed the game in many ways and how it's played. His personal life and things all outside of the game were definitely scrutinized. But when it came to football, he was always dialed in from start to finish of his career. And that's why I feel like you have to give it to him, because the next person that would only come close as far as the best to wear 56 was Sergei Zubov of the NHL. And when it comes to him, he did have a decent career, playing from 1988 to 2010. It's a long time. It's 22 seasons or 23 seasons. But it's a pretty long career. However, when you look at and compare the two, there's more accolades in the 13 years that Lawrence Taylor did in his NFL career that overshadow what the previous in NHL did. So have to agree with you on that. Have to give it to Lawrence Taylor. And with that being said, we both agree here in round 4.
Only mistake the Water Boy made was not giving him number 56. If that had been the case, Bob Boucher would have been the greatest 56 of all time. He's got like 1,000 sacks.
Are you talking about with stuff like this?
Like Boucher knocked him out cold.
I don't think that could have been any better in timing. That was spot on, and my finger was right there. I was like, it went about this and click. Yeah.
Hey, Drew. I know school. I love football. And I'm going to do it because you make me feel good. Mama, I like to go see Vicky Valicourt because she makes me show me boobies. Next time I can't do this no more.
Oh, my God. That was great. You know, guys, we've been through 4 rounds here of the In or Out Sports Debate. There's something that I want to acknowledge before we go further, and that is a new show that's going to be coming soon to the network. And we've tried this before with professional wrestling and tried to have a show. And my goal has been at some point to introduce a weekly show, you know, at least one show a week or bi-weekly to talk professional wrestling. And here's the intro and a little bit of a sneak peek to what that can be.
LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Acknowledge me. You should know your role and shut your mouth!
That's right, the Kayfabe Express Pro Wrestling Talk Show. We will definitely have some guests within the realm of professional wrestling. Different positions, you know, different titles within the professional wrestling, different associations. Definitely working on putting it together. It's going to be within the next 4 to 6 weeks, but the Kayfabe Express will be coming to the LegacyMaker Sports Network. With that said, we've gone through 5 rounds here so far on this show. I mean, 4 rounds, my apologies. We have 1 more round to go through. And with that, let's go ahead and talk a little bit of NBA. Let's go ahead and take it into the final round.
Final round.
And here with the final round, let's go ahead and take it to the LA Lakers. The Lakers should seriously consider trading LeBron James as a result of their start to this NBA season. How do you feel about this one, Rob? Are you in or are you out on this one? Say again. Sorry. What was that?
Oh, I'm out.
He's out.
Yes, they start off 1-5. However, I think that putting Russ on the bench is actually going to help them. Their schedule coming down here looks like it's pretty doable. I think that by Christmas they'll be back over 500. I think that this team has the ability to do some better things with Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. They could possibly get a trade, get a free agent, etc. If you look at the Lakers and how much they charge for tickets, not only at the Staples Center but on the road, I think that with him being with the Lakers, it's going to help. Especially from a financial standpoint, because you look at some of these games, like if you look on Ticketmaster, like you go to a game for the Hornets, for different teams who are just not that popular, etc., they're charging crazy prices for the Lakers. And if you go somewhere else, those teams lose their value and it loses the appeal of that certain game. Imagine people who've already paid for the tickets, people who are planning to go to the games, see the Lakers. I think the Lakers will be able to turn this thing around. It's a tough season. It's a long season. I think that the formula of Russell Westbrook coming off the bench will help.
Yeah, this one's tough, man. And I know that you disagree. However, I'm going to have to say they should definitely consider trading LeBron. LeBron is not going to want to be traded, and there's going to have to be several factors that make this even come close to happening, because he wants to be in LA to make movies, to be in Hollywood, and be the Hollywood star that he isn't. Because when you watch Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, especially on Wednesdays, their Bronze Sexual Confessions, where they have conversations with people who love LeBron, and you hear all about it. LeBron, he's chasing money. He's chasing fame when it comes to Hollywood. He wants to stay in there long enough to play with Bronny. I don't feel like he's chasing rings. And the way that this team started with 0-5, Rob, they are definitely not chasing rings. It took you to the 6th game to have Russell Westbrook come off the bench and nearly have a double-double. Like he was 2 assists and 2 blocks away or whatever it was, or no, 2 assists and 2 rebounds away, or 1 rebound and 1 assist, or however it was. He was so close to having a triple-double off the bench. But you got to pay a guy $47 million to come off the bench, because that's what you're paying him in this last year of that contract. He is not as valuable of a piece to move and get assets for in return if you're going to truly rebuild. LeBron is the number one, or if you really want to build around LeBron, you trade AD. But there's so many factors within that. That's why I should say you should consider trading him. Doesn't mean that you're actually doing it, but definitely at least consider it, because this team is an absolute dumpster fire, playing like a bunch of dumpster Pelicans. There should be moves made within this situation if you have any hope of doing anything within the next couple of years, and you don't have these aging pieces for too long to get actual value back in return. That's why I feel like you should consider trading LeBron.
Well, I understand all that, but I mean, if we're going to ask the snowman about it, of course he's biased. I mean, I don't know if he stole the guy's lunch money or whatever. I mean, because you want to talk about a guy who is just all in. I mean, you can see the bias all over it. Like, I don't know. And that was a shot at snowman. I'm sorry. Yeah, the bias against LeBron is too much, my man. I don't get it. Like, maybe one day he can explain it. I don't get it, but I mean, LeBron is about to pass Kareem. And I think the Lakers want that to happen in their situation. So, like I said, I just think that, don't trade him. It's not the best situation.
You're probably right about that. But for the sake of a little bit of an argument, because there hasn't been too much, because we have been agreeing on certain things, I felt like with that one, and because of the play of the Lakers and having to have Russell Westbrook come off the bench in order to do what he did and paying him $47 million, it's just so much dumpster fire-esque like things going with this team right now. And you gotta make some moves somewhere and at least consider moving the most valuable piece.
Definitely.
So with that being said, we've gone through 5 rounds so far on the In or Out Sports Debate. There's one thing that we need to acknowledge before we go further, and that is the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
And with that part in the show, we have to acknowledge that even though Rob has that streak of 1 through 11, the birth of the actual Vault of Fame came after that. Rob is previously an 11-time inductee by default, but now officially a 12-time Vault of Fame inductee. Robb Johnson here for episode 56 has joined the ranks as now a 12-time Vault of Fame inductee. When we look at this graph here of the leaderboard, Rob is definitely much, much further ahead than the next contestant of Joey Raymond, who actually will be here to cut that in half tonight at 6. Then you have a 4-way tie for 3 appearances with Darrell Owens, James Brown, Corey Mann, and P. Alexander Wally. And then at 2 appearances, there are 12 panelists tied at the 2 appearances here on this show. So congratulations to Rob for coming back and getting to 12 episodes here on the In or Out Sports Debate. Up next, you can definitely look at episode 57 tonight at 8:00 p.m. Eastern here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. But before we go, there is something that I want to show you before we go to the mayhem culmination and acknowledge the final comments and do the final word. I want to look back at something that's pretty special to this show, and that is what got us to this point. That is the 50 episodes that took place leading up to this point here in the show.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
Hello, everyone. We are live with episode 15 of the In or Out Sports Debate.
You took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I'm personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
And I'll say this too quickly for the In or Out Sports Debate Show. Whenever there's a debate show like this involving Drew Willingham, is he the winner? Is the guest the winner? No, the winner is America for experiencing the joy that is the In and Out Sports Debate Show.
I know that in myself, and I'd be naive to say there wasn't any growth from watching the first episode to now episode 49. And it takes the other end of it as well, whether it's one person like Joey who's here, or when we have trios episodes and it's multiple people, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. So with my final word, I want to thank all of you. That's why we have a Vault of Fame. That's why I acknowledge you all at the beginning of the show and induct you at the end for those of you who are currently here, because without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you very much for everything. There you have it, the first 50 episodes. You can go back and look at that on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. There's a 30-minute special that you can watch on all the platforms, including YouTube, the most accessible one to that. We are here with episode 56. Robb Johnson returns. We do have a couple things left, and let's go ahead and acknowledge the comments here for the mayhem culmination to round up the episode before we go to the final word and see what the fans have to say. And here with the final comments that we have to round out the end of the show. We were finishing it off with Michael Bish's comments. So the next one was the original LT. Derek Medea says, definitely that is legitimate there with Derek, the original LT. He was the man. He definitely was, Derek. I hate to agree with Derek, but he's right on this. Well, I'm glad that you guys are getting along for that comment. I can actually acknowledge that you guys are actually agreeing with something. That's great. And Derek is saying, yes, definitely excited with the fact that that he's agreeing with them. And for that, we got to play this, I guess. And he said, know your role, Derek, and you're being a Chad. You're being a troll, Chad. So when it comes to trolls on this show, guys, we don't really like trolls too much. We don't need you guys up in here messing up our time, and we do have a special message for you when it comes to the trolls. And for that, here it is. So don't be a troll, Chad. Take this message, read it, weep, think about it. We do not want internet trolls up in here, Chad. So take that back. When it comes to the comments, back to acknowledging the know your role one that Chad said, even though you have been a little bit of a troll in the eyes of some, I'm going to go ahead and play that clip for you because it looks like you definitely want us to play it. When it comes to knowing your role and shutting your mouth.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
So, guys, thank you for the entertainment with that. 50 episodes of greatness. Thank you, Derek. Rob was a big part of the first 11 with that, and now back for 56. And finally, our final comment, Chad calls him a kiss ass. So great use of emoji there, Chad. I actually have to give you that. But with that, we have to say this.
You're fired!
Because you shouldn't be talking to our guys like that. No more trolling, guys. I'm cutting you off. Don't you come into episode 57 tonight, the other half of Double Debate Tuesday, and be trolling, because we're just going to say this.
Would you please shut the hell up?
And with that, we conclude the comments from the fans with the Mayhem culmination. Guys, we have one last thing to do here on this episode 56, and that is acknowledge the final word, where you know the deal. Anything that we discussed in this entire episode or just sports in general, we can get off our mind. Let's go ahead and take it there to the final word. And here with the final word. Go ahead and start this off with the return of Rob. Let's go ahead and see what he has to say for his final word.
Glad everybody chimed in. I got myself a big game tonight. Go Lady Trojans. Hope they're able to do what they're supposed to do, and just glad to be back on the show. Go LegacyMaker Sports Network.
Hey, well, good luck with that game tonight, man. Thank you for making time to be here and come back for episode 56. And I'll take my final word with that and to say this. You know, we had a great run with those first 11 episodes, and here publicly on the episode, you know, I'd like to acknowledge that, you know, to basically anybody in a final word, I'm going to take this in a direction that Lamont Thomas kind of did in his last return here and a few episodes ago with his final word. Basically, if there's nothing really in this world that should be combating one another into not being able to work with one another. And I acknowledge my end of that and making mistakes on multiple occasions and working through those to basically the key point behind it is basically everybody learn how to handle your emotions with certain things. And you can tell with this show and the production of this show that I put everything that I have into this show, and I'm building on it with each and every episode, adding pieces here and there to where the complexity of this show was completely different. Even though the overall structure was the same, there's a lot of differences between when Rob was here with episode 11 and now episode 56. A lot of changes I've been proud of, some investments to make, some things I've had to learn, teach myself. But the important thing is learning and growing within yourself, being able to control and get a handle on your emotions and things that shouldn't be a factor in what you do with how you work and how you work with people. So with that on my end, and just to teach people going forward to just basically acknowledge your wrongs and do the best you can to improve on a daily basis, because life's too short. You have the ability to do great things. And with that, we did that with episode 56 and Rob coming back. So thank you again, sir, for coming back. And we definitely had a great one here. An hour passed for episode 56. And there's one thing that we have to acknowledge and one thing to go back in time for nostalgic purposes. And that's look at the original badass outro from my colleague, Robb Johnson, to my side. I am Drew Willingham. Everybody stay safe out there in these streets. And don't forget this evening to check out episode 57 on the back end of the Double Debate Tuesday. Thank you, everybody. Take care.